Hello. Let me apologize for not being able to be with you today. What we have decided to do is record a little video of the talk that I would have given you if I was able to be with you. At this point, you might feel a little bit like you are stuck in the equivalent of waiting for the economic rapture, waiting for an economic recovery that has been long proclaimed, much heralded, always around the corner, but never seems to fully materialize. So what I want to talk to you about today is what I think is going on at a deeper level. And to do that, I want to begin with a brief history of economies. In the beginning, I think we can distinguish between three generations of economies. And in the beginning, there were what I call functional economies. The functional economies are concerned with providing stuff of direct utility, of immediate benefit. Stuff like this. Cheeseburger. After functional economies came the leap to an aspirational economy. Aspirational economy is composed of stuff that provides you indirect benefits, right? It's the stuff of conspicuous consumption. A little bit like this, right? A very famous brand that we all aspire to have, to own, to consume. You can think of functional economies as being born at the dawn of the industrial age, and the leap to an aspirational economy having happened kind of at the peak of the industrial age, the dawn of mass consumption. Today, I believe we're on the cusp of a great shift to what I call a meaningful economy. A meaningful economy is a little bit different, and I don't have a prop to show you because it's still being born. And a meaningful economy is about words that you may have heard being tossed around these days with increasing frequency. Words like impact, words like benefit. It's a meaningful economy. It's about building an economy that matters in human terms, that goes beyond mere function, goes beyond mere aspiration, to really making us tangibly, lastingly, meaningfully better off as humans. So, to tell you the story of this great shift, let me ask a question. What is it that we do in this room here as students and practitioners, as scholars and thinkers of commerce, of business, of economics? Well, whether our specialization is marketing or strategy, finance or economics, operations, my guess is that what we are doing has something to do with more, bigger, faster, cheaper now on the supply side, and on the demand side with desiring, owning, having, upgrading. In other words, we are practitioners of a paradigm that I call opulence. Opulence, this paradigm that is about more, bigger, faster, cheaper, now, desiring, owning, having, upgrading. Opulence is a hedonic paradigm. It's a paradigm that was born in and for the industrial age. And if you think about it with me, my guess is that together we can trace the history of most of the significant innovations of the last century or more through the terms of this paradigm of opulence. Everything from the birth of post-war consumerism, which was about desiring more, to stuff like Morgan Spurlock's supersized meals, which are about bigger, to fast food itself, or maybe even fast fashion, which is about faster, to the birth of lean global supply chains, which have all of the fat sucked out of them, just-in-time global supply, which is about now, to the birth of junk bonds, about having stuff cheaper, to upgrading, right? Which is in a sense what the stuff of innovation, or the word we use today, is innovation, means. Or even to the birth of day trading, which is about now. This is the paradigm that I call opulence. more, bigger, faster, cheaper now. And I think if you think about it with me, you can trace probably what you are doing. And you can also probably trace the history of the last century in the terms of this paradigm. But today, we're also becoming more and more familiar with the downsides of opulence, right? We're learning that opulence has hidden costs and unintended consequences, the most obvious of which is the environment. So, a couple of years ago, an authoritative estimate of global environmental damage as a consequence of this paradigm called opulence was conducted by a consultancy in the UN. The estimate was 11% of global GDP. But that's just one of the downsides of opulence, right? There are many others. There's not just climate change, pollution. There's also kind of inequality, right? Social fracture and polarization, dumbification, news that misinforms us, culture that fails to elevate us. There's also regulatory capture and political gridlock. There's also economic fragility and this great financial crisis that we are undergoing today. So those are some of the hidden costs and unintended consequences. And on the flip side, what we see is that even if the world was to pursue opulence, it probably couldn't afford it, not just for the hidden costs, but for the very direct ones. So China already consumes 50% of the world's iron ore, coal, but it's only achieved 10% of American levels of opulence, according to GDP. So the gap is probably too big. And when you look at the numbers, I think the numbers may be confirming my little hypothesis. When we look at global consumption as a share of global GDP, it peaked in 2006. And global savings have been declining since 1970. And so maybe what we're witnessing is a quantum leap, the end of an era, and the leap into a very different paradigm, a post-opulence economy. And it may be that old saying, he who dies with the most toy wins, is becoming something more like, he who dies with the most toys is just as dead. So, spend a couple of minutes discussing with you what I think the next paradigm is going to be. I call it eudaimonia, the ancient Greek word for living meaningfully well. And each of those is a key word. Eudaimonia is not just about more, bigger, faster, cheaper now. It's not about stuff, it's about people. And it's about helping people become fitter, smarter, wiser, fairer, maybe even humbler, maybe even closer, tougher, more resilient, more self-sufficient, helping them grow and become and achieve their fuller potential. And to do that, just as to fulfill the paradigm of opulence, we had to go through these steps of desiring, owning, having, and upgrading. In a eudaimonic paradigm, we have to move from desiring to inspiring people to become. We have to move from giving people stuff to own to helping people do better. We have to move from helping people have more stuff to helping people attain higher levels of achievement, great achievement. And ultimately, we probably have to help people transform their own lives. And we see eudaimonia being born around us in places big and small. So two of my favorite examples. Nike Plus helps people become better runners. Open IDEO helps people get together, collaborate, and begin solving the world's biggest problems. And at national and international levels, we have small steps towards eudaimonia, well-being indices, such as those the OECD has just pioneered. These are all baby steps. So let me summarize for you what I think the bigger lesson of the eudaimonic paradigm is. In a functional economy, our goal as practitioners and students is to help people in their quest for subsistence. In an aspirational economy, our goal is to help people in their quest for affluence, to have more, to signal to others. Look at me, look at what I can consume, look at my status. But in a meaningful economy, I think our role is to help people in their quest for significance, to help live lives that matter in human terms, not just sell them more, bigger, faster, cheaper now, but to help them live lives of deep, enduring, and lasting significance. So that's the message that I would like to leave you with. This is, I believe, the quantum leap of the next decade and beyond. And I think that each of us has to decide, are we practitioners of an industrial age paradigm? And if we are we prisoners of that paradigm? A paradigm which may have reached diminishing returns? Or are we ready to take a quantum leap into a eudaimonic future? Thanks very much for listening, and I hope to get the chance to actually speak with you someday. Thank you.